Happy Homebrew Wednesday. It's just come off the back of my Panhead video. I'm happy to say this beer is back. This beer is back to being good in Australia. It used to be crap. But anyway, it's not what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about, well, a few things. This is a beer that I've had for a while from Elvesbury Garage, Chris in WA. This is his. Now, I've done one of those really stupid things where Chris sent me a lot of detailed notes he sent me about 5-6 beers, and really good notes on them, and I read them, and I put them somewhere safe, but I can't remember or find where they are. But anyway, what I can remember, just checking it's not this, no. What I can remember is that this is a sour beer, and I remember he said it was quite aggressively soured beer, and GS1B. So this could be a Brettanomyces beer. I'm not sure. I'm going to open it up. I've been meaning to try it. I've got a pair of saisons that he sent me left, so they are coming. So anyway, looks pretty clear in the bottle. Let's get it open. Little hiss. It's got the funk. It definitely has got the funk. Now I know that Chris is pretty keen on his water chemistry, and the beers that I've had from him have all been fairly top notch. And he's right into his sours. I had a Catarina sour from him, which was my first Catarina sour. So I'm expecting good things, is what I'm saying. Oh, that's got some funkiness to it. Fruity, like peaches, apricots maybe. Definitely got a sour note to it. Yes, sort of stone fruit. And maybe mandarin kind of vibe. Anyway, I'm going to dive straight in. Cheers, Chris. And I haven't forgotten, there are beers coming your way. Oh, yep, aggressively soured. Oh, it's good though. Plums. Yeah, big plum note, which is not something I would expect from the colour, but so fruity. I've not really been a huge sour beer drinker, but the more I drink them, sorry, that is intensely sour, but it's still got a sweet finish to it to balance it out. That's really nice. This would not be something I would give to someone who's never tried a sour beer before, but I reckon it'd be almost more palatable to someone who's not into craft beer than like a big IPA, because at least sour and fruit, tart, you're kind of a bit more familiar with those. Anyway, great sour beer. Thanks, Chris. So as I alluded to before, I've been meaning to do a number of things. One of which is put some of the Quick Quake yeast that I got from John Anderson in a starter, because I want to build up some cultures and send it out to people who've asked for it. And I said, yeah, no worries, I'll do it in the next couple of weeks. And it's been a couple of months. My apologies. I've also got a keg full of, almost full of the Anzac Ale, which I need to bottle. That's going to happen this week. It is going to happen this week. So if it's Sunday and it hasn't happened, I'm not sleeping until it's done. Which I'm going to send out to. I've already got 2 beers from Brad and Damo. Thank you for sending those. I'm hoping to do a side-by-side of all the beers that I get to taste everyone's version of it. And yeah, so I've got 2 Quake starters going. One on a stir plate, 2 litres, and one in a Tupperware container sitting on top of the coffee machine, keeping warmish. The reason why I did 2 is because I tasted a vial that I had in the fridge since 9 months ago, and it was tasting a little bit sour. And I had some stuff in the freezer which I'd taken off a top cropped, an experiment that I did from a dark beer. And so I've put 2 versions in that. And hopefully I get something from that. I'll update that when it happens. What else is happening? Oh yes, I did a brew with a mate of mine, Pete. He's we've got a little bearded brewers of Newcastle group of I think 4 or 5 of us now, and sort of various levels of homebrew, and basically just get together, drink each other's beers, give each other feedback, and have a good time. So Pete's been doing extract for a little while now. He does a mean ginger mead and ginger beer. Mainly ginger mead is his thing. It's what allows him to continue on with the hobby and keep his wife happy. But anyway, he bought some secondhand Robo Brew, and he wanted someone to help him take him through the process of all grain. So we kind of came up with a basic recipe that wasn't going to cost him a lot of ingredients and stuff that I already kind of had and what he had. So we kind of cobbled a recipe together, and I went round to his place and we brewed it. That was a lot of fun. I've probably overlaid some footage here of the brew day. On Monday, it was kegged and ready. But basically, the whole idea of him doing this brew was he wanted to see if all grain was going to be worth the extra time versus an extract with hop tea, etc. And, it was interesting tasting an extract beer, which was actually I can't remember who made it, but it was a Rawaka Pale, I think. And what we had, which was sort of a pale ale with Vic Secret, Centennial, and something else, maybe? I can't remember. Actually, I can pull it up here. So yeah, it was Vic Secret, Centennial, and Artarnum. Grain bill was basically Gladfield ale malt with a little bit of Munich at 17%, bittered with Warrior. So it's pretty much fairly standard pale ale. We only threw in 30 grams of Artarnum and 18 grams of Vic Secret in the dry hop. On tasting the beers, we could have gone a little harder with the dry hops. Yeah, it was a good clean base, and it was a really easy drinking beer, but it wasn't that sort of more hoppy beer that I think both of us were kind of hoping for. But, it was a good starting point. I also was involved in going to be brewing for a festival as part of the homebrew club that I'm in, for Smoke and Broke. It's a barbecue festival, probably about an hour away from hour out of Newcastle. Our homebrew club was going to be serving some beers and doing some tasting for the general public. And so I kind of didn't have time to brew, but another club member, he had time to brew, but he didn't have any room in his fermentation chamber. And the event was sort of 2 weeks away, and we were saying, well, we need something quick to turn around fast. And I said, well, I've got a saison recipe that was pretty good. And so he ended up brewing it and no chilling it into a cube. And I picked it up the following day, took it back to my place and fermented it out within a week, kegged it. And I kegged his pale that he'd brewed as well. Borrowed some kegs from another club member. So it was kind of an all-in effort. But anyway, the Thursday night, which reminds me of something else. The Thursday night that we went, the Thursday night before the event, we found out that it was cancelled. So I've got 2 kegs, 1 keg of saison and 1 keg of pale, surplus to my needs. So I think I'm going to have a few people round to finish that keg. And speaking of Thursday, I went to the grain store because they had, sorry, I'm just trying to find a photo here. They had the Gabs Fest tap list, so they had lots of different beers from the Great Australian Beer Spectacular on the bar. I think they had 20 or so beers. I tried the FA18 IPA 18% beer, and it was that, and there was a tequila kettle sour barrel aged something, which is the classic Gabs thing of there are always some beers that are like, whoa, that's very left field, and I'm really glad that I tried that, but I don't know that I'd buy a whole pint of it. There's some good beers and there's some not so good beers. I tried about 16 beers out of the 21 on the tap list, just in paddles, and sharing other people's what was on their paddle. But that was a really good night. Put up some footage here from where I sat, and I'll show up. I'll put a overlay of the menu and see if I can highlight the beers that I tried. But yeah, some really good ones. The peach goza was really good. I think that was probably one of my favourites. I did have the Timothy Slamothy beer. I thought that was good. I didn't think it was amazing, but my palate was probably getting a little bit worn out at that stage. I went sours first, then IPAs, then dessert beers. There was a coffee and donuts beer that was spectacular. It was like really good. Yeah, it was a really good night. A couple of mates came out, and yeah, that's all there was. So kind of a lot happening, and I'm really sorry again that it's taken me so long to get off my behind with some of the things that I've promised people. So I'm going to enjoy the hell out of this beer. Thanks again, Chris. This is actually really good in a sort of slap you around the face and do it again and again and again sort of way. Oh, apricots, peaches, plums. Yes. Yeah. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.